Today, we're going to dive into one of the most incredible events in Islamic tradition, the night journey and ascension. It's this amazing story that actually begins not in a moment of celebration, but in a time of real, profound human sorrow. You know, it's often said that the greatest hope can emerge from the deepest darkness. And for the prophet, this journey was exactly that. A divine light, a moment of relief that came when he needed it most, piercing right through his darkest hour.
Okay, so to really get the significance of this miracle, we have to first understand the pain that came right before it. This whole period is known in history as the Aam al-Huzn, which literally means the year of grief.
I want you to just imagine losing your two biggest pillars of support in the same year. His uncle Abu Talib was his public shield, a respected leader who protected him from the worst of the attacks. And his wife, Khadija, she was his rock, his emotional anchor, the very first person to believe in him. With both of them gone, the persecution from his own tribe just became relentless. So looking for some kind of refuge, he traveled to a city called At-Taif, but what he found there was just mockery and a violent, hateful rejection. This was, without a doubt, his lowest point. And it was from this place, this abyss of human despair, that a divine invitation arrived. The first part of this incredible event is known as Al-Israa, the night journey, a journey that took place horizontally, right across the earth.
Now, to carry him on this journey, the angel Jibreel brought a celestial creature. Its name was Al-Buraq. The name itself comes from the Arabic word for lightning, and believe me, its movement lived up to the name. Every single stride it took landed as far as its eyes could see. This was no ordinary animal. It was a creature from another realm, built for a journey that would completely defy our understanding of time and space.
So you might be asking, what was the whole point of this trip? Well, the Quran tells us very clearly it was for God to show the prophet some of his greatest signs. This wasn't just about travel, it was a divine education. It was a direct look into realities that are way beyond human perception, all meant to fill his heart with unshakable certainty and strength.
Think about this. A journey that would normally take weeks by caravan was done in just a part of one night. I mean, the sheer speed of it just shattered every known law of the physical world. And when he arrived in Jerusalem, he was met by the souls of all the prophets who came before him, and he led them in prayer, which was this beautiful moment, signifying his role as the final messenger in one long, sacred chain. But here's the thing. Jerusalem wasn't the final destination. It was just the beginning. From there, the second and arguably even more mind-blowing part of the journey started. Al-Mai'raaj, the ascension up through the heavens themselves.
With the angel Jibreel as his guide, he ascended level by level through 7 distinct heavenly realms. And at the gate of each one, he was welcomed by one of the prophets who came before him. First Adam, then John and Jesus, then Joseph, Idris, Aaron, Moses, and finally, in the highest heaven, he was greeted by Abraham.
And this greeting, it is so important. At every single stage, he was welcomed like family, as a virtuous son by his great forefathers, Adam and Abraham, and as a virtuous brother by all the others. It was this incredible confirmation of his mission, a powerful statement that he belonged to the single unified brotherhood of all the prophets. The whole ascension then reached its peak at this place of just breathtaking majesty, the Sidratul Muntaha. It's described as a low tree that marks the absolute boundary of created existence. The descriptions of it are just otherworldly. Its fruits were as large as jars, its leaves like the ears of elephants. This was a place so sacred that no creation, not even the angel Jibreel, could go beyond it. This was it, the climax of the entire ascension. Right here, at the very edge of reality, the prophet witnessed things no human eyes had ever seen. He was in the divine presence and was shown some of the greatest signs of his Lord. It was an experience designed to solidify his faith beyond any possible doubt.
Now, after a meeting like that, he wasn't going to return empty-handed. He was given a special gift to bring back, a direct line of communication between the Creator and the creation, for him and for every single one of his followers.
The initial command was, well, it was monumental. 50 prayers. 50 prayers prescribed for every single day. You can see how an act of worship on that scale really reflects the majesty of the setting where it was given.
So, on his way back down, he passes by the prophet Moses again. And Moses, having had plenty of experience with his own people, he offers some very practical advice. He urges him, go back and ask for a reduction. Trust me, he says, such a heavy obligation, it's just going to be too difficult for people to bear.
So, the Prophet Muhammad did. He went back,
appealing to God's incredible mercy. And after several exchanges, that huge obligation of 50 was graciously reduced all the way down to 5.
And here's the crucial part. God declared that even though the duty was now only 5 daily prayers, the spiritual reward would stay as if it were for the original 50. And that became the ultimate gift, a practice that's manageable for us, but with an immense, undiminished reward. It's just a perfect symbol of divine compassion.
So, after witnessing the wonders of the heavens and receiving this incredible gift of prayer, the prophet was returned to Makkah, all before the night was even over. But now came the earthly challenge. How do you explain the unexplainable?
Right? That's the question at the heart of this next part of the story. The disbelievers in Makkah, they immediately started mocking him. A journey to Jerusalem and back in one night, they thought it was impossible. So, they demanded proof.
And he gave them proof. But it wasn't some abstract proof from the heavens. He gave them proof from their own world. He told them he had passed one of their merchant caravans on his way back. And then he gave these incredibly specific, verifiable details, that they were looking for a lost camel, that he had actually drunk from their water container while they slept, and that their lead camel was a certain color, red, and carried a very specific saddlebag. And this is the moment of truth. When that caravan finally rolled into Makkah, people rushed over to them and started asking questions, and every single detail the prophet had mentioned, it was confirmed. Yes, they lost a camel. Yes, some of their water was mysteriously gone. And yes, that was their lead camel. The unseen had just been verified by the seen. But even with concrete proof, many of the skeptics just brushed it off as magic. And their reaction is in such stark contrast to his closest friend Abu Bakr. When people ran to him to mock the prophet's story, he didn't even hesitate for a second. His response was immediate and powerful. If he said that, then he has spoken the truth. His logic was simple. He said, I believe him about receiving news from the heavens every day, so why would a journey to Jerusalem be any harder to believe? And for that absolute, unwavering faith, he was given the title As-Sadiq, the truthful one.
So when you look at the whole thing, this miraculous journey really served multiple purposes, didn't it? It was a profound comfort for the prophet after his year of grief. It was a powerful lesson in the nature of faith versus doubt. And, of course, it delivered the central pillar of worship for Muslims, the 5 daily prayers, a direct and personal connection to God for all believers to come.
And it really leaves us with something to think about. This event challenges the very line we draw between the physical and the spiritual, between what we think is possible and what we think is impossible. It suggests that truth isn't always something we can physically see or measure. And it kind of prompts us to ask ourselves about the nature of proof, of belief, and what vast, unseen realities might lie just beyond our own perception.